If you've ever experienced turbulence on a flight, you know how uncomfortable it can be. Now imagine that after the turbulence ends, the plane stabilizes and arrives at its destination normally. However, upon disembarking, the passengers discover that 37 years have passed. It almost sounds like a TV show plot, doesn't it? Today, we're going to explore the story of a flight that experienced just that. Our story begins on July 2, 1950, a typical summer day with no signs of any weather surprises for the 57 passengers aboard Pan Am Flight 914. The plane took off from New York with 4 crew members and was headed for Miami, Florida. Most of the passengers were probably looking forward to enjoying their vacation on the city's beautiful beaches. What they couldn't imagine was that they would face a decades-long ordeal. At the start of the flight, everything seemed to be in order, but the problem began for those on the ground waiting for the aircraft's arrival. About 3 hours after takeoff, the flight simply disappeared from the radar. Controllers in New York and Miami could not contact the pilot, and suddenly it was as if the plane had never existed. Authorities launched a frantic search to understand what had happened, or in the worst case, to find the wreckage. They quickly assumed that the plane had crashed into the Atlantic Ocean, but despite intensive efforts, no trace was found, no black box, bodies, fuselage, or passengers' belongings. The most logical conclusion was that the plane had indeed crashed into the sea, as there were no reports of a crash on land. Pan Am even issued a statement confirming this hypothesis, but the spokesperson could not provide specific details. Although there was no way to reverse the loss of 61 lives, the airline compensated the passengers' families. After extensive searches, the case was closed. Fast forward 37 years to May 21, 1992. It was a routine day for the air traffic controllers at Caracas Airport in Venezuela. On that day, I was in charge of the control tower, and to my surprise, an unexpected aircraft suddenly appeared in the airspace. And you might be thinking, this is Flight 914. Imagine Ruin's astonishment when he saw a Douglas DC-4, a model from the 1940s, approaching the runway. There are 2 versions of this event. Some reports claim the plane appeared out of nowhere on the radar, while others say the surprise started before the plane even showed up, with an unknown point appearing on the equipment. In any case, Ruin and the other control tower staff were incredulous. They analyzed the data multiple times trying to understand the situation. The plane's model and its sudden appearance were just the tip of the iceberg. Caracas Control, this is Pan Am Flight 914. Where are we? What's happening? Pan Am Flight 914, you are approaching Caracas. Can you confirm your departure and destination? We are Flight 914 from Pan Am, with a crew of 4 and 57 passengers. We should have arrived in Miami on July 2nd, 1955. The news left Ruin stunned and unsure how to inform those people that they were thousands of kilometers from their original destination. Flight 914, please stay calm. Today is May 21st, 1992. The shocked pilot gathered his remaining composure and prepared to land. A team was positioned on the runway to assist, and on the ground, a security team was ready to ensure the passengers' safety. However, as the plane was about to land, the captain unexpectedly declared they would leave and took off again from the runway without permission, a dangerous move that left many people worried. While Flight 914 was in the air, 3 Venezuelan Air Force jets attempted to track it, but as before, they were unable to locate the aircraft. Just a few hours after leaving Caracas, the plane arrived at Miami International Airport, 37 years after its original departure. The surprise now was for the American airport staff and security team, who wondered where the plane had been, and why it was arriving in the condition it was. We haven't aged a day since we left in 1955. How is this possible? Could this have been a time travel, a wormhole? After disembarking, the passengers were questioned for hours, and the story began to resemble a plot from a show like Manifest. Just like the characters in the show, the passengers of Flight 914 had not aged a day since their departure in 1955. Many conspiracy theories emerged, but upon closer investigation, we found the original source of the case, a tabloid called Weekly World News, known for its fictional stories and conspiracy theories. The tabloid published 3 different stories about Flight 914, all with inaccurate information and dates. The first article was published in 1985, reporting that the flight had appeared 30 years after its departure. Additionally, the character Ruan Della Curto was shown with different photos in each article. Despite the evidence suggesting this is a hoax, some claim that the pilot or someone from Flight 914 left a small 1955 calendar on the Caracas runway. And what do you think about this story? Is it an invention or a government cover-up? Share your thoughts in the comments and see you next time. A big hug and goodbye.